1, 2, 3. We are live. That was the intro, which I built it on the go. Just reminding myself about this intro. Hello everyone, and hi Callum in the next
Hey.
umbraCoffee episode. Without title yet, but we'll find one. How are you, Callum? How's your
good.
week?
I've had a very, very busy week, as we were just discussing. Lots of exciting things going on in my world, but busy. And of course, run up to Christmas, Black Friday, different lockdown rules applying to the UK. It's a busy time. How about you?
Yes, I'm off this week in theory, because some of my friends had a joke that I took a week off to prepare myself for Black Friday and the Cyber Monday. But the real life was that I really needed to rest and catch up on my side projects and all the other stuff. And yeah, I'm preparing for that. My side business is also preparing for Black Friday, and it's ongoing. And yeah, as you can see, my RGB light is also prepared for the Christmas atmosphere. And this is the last umbraCoffee from this studio for me this year.
Oh,
that's
you're moving.
Yes, I'm going to my hometown for the rest of the year. And we are coming back in January, so that's interesting.
Very nice.
But yeah,
maybe I was going to just say we don't really talk about your side hustles very much, but it's very interesting. And a lot of people may not know. Maybe you just want to say a little bit about Wow School for a minute.
Oh yeah, that's interesting, because Umbraco is heavily involved there. So I'm running a programming school for children for 5 years already, and we are teaching children how to code from age 5 to 16, and as I've said, Umbraco involved because our teenagers are also learning about web technologies and HTML, JavaScript, CMSs, and stuff like that. And we've started doing online courses 2 years ago, before it was cool and forced. And right now we have more than 8,000 students in our online courses.
Students. So this is not just you run a couple of little coding clubs. This is like
no.
That's the size of a university. That's huge.
It's almost 20 people working really heavily on making it all happen. I'm responsible for the technical bits and of course programs validation. I'm not running all of those courses, of course, but yeah, it's really my side project, which I love, and I love seeing smiles on children's faces and when they are solving problems and issues. So yeah, it's kind of ongoing. And today we are collecting. We've just passed 8,000 students today. Thanks to Black Friday.
The periodic post put on Instagram or something where you show your Slack channel and just 20 sign up. Like this is what we're dealing with right now. It's impressive. It's very cool to see that it's grown that much in 5 short years.
Yeah, and of course it's not the end. It's still everyone wants to learn how to code. We see the programming; it's very important and a unique skill. Not only forcing children to become programmers, but it's like kind of skills which you can use everywhere. Basically, problem solving, all the creative stuff, and things like that. And yeah, if we can utilize time spent by children in front of the computers to have something cool from that, other than just waste of time, that's a good mission. And
I recall that you said to me, I think it was maybe last year in Warsaw, you said that parents, you're trying to sell the idea of, oh, this is cool, this is fun to the children. They say to their parents, oh, we really want to do this. And then from the parents, it's just like, well, we'll look after the child for however long. You don't need to worry. They're in safe hands. They're not doing stupid things on the computer. They're actually learning some stuff, and that's really cool.
Yeah. So if anyone will be interested in hearing more about this, as you've said, I'm not probably sharing a lot about it because it's in Polish and it's right now only running on our local markets. But we are planning expansion, and we were already talking with Elam, for example, and Coding Pirates initiative from Denmark about some ideas and exchange of knowledge. So if anyone wants to teach children how to code, I'm happy to help every time.
Very cool.
But we've mentioned Christmas as well, which is kind of relates to all of it, children, promotions, and Umbraco as well. Because we have Secret Santa, Umbraco Secret Santa back. And Steve shared a sign-up form again with us this year. One more addition, which is kind of interesting, and I must say it was something what people also raised last year. It was like about sharing a personal address, and of course we are more in-house this year than we cannot use offices that much, for example, to deliver packages there. So Steve decided to forward parcels to people who don't want to share their address, which is kind
really
of
nice.
Cool.
That's obviously like they're footing the bill for that. Steve and Giant's company. That's an incredibly nice thing to do. But also makes the whole thing a little bit more accessible for people that were maybe worried that don't want to give their details away. Then Steve's the only one to see them, and he would have seen them anyway because he gets the forms get submitted.
Yeah. But yeah, that's people who don't have public addresses. Mine is public because it's a company address. But the other ones can be passed through Steve. And again, it don't need to be a parcel shipped physically. I received a digital product last year, and it was really, really cool. It was an ebook package. So we can ship digital products as well. And it's the same good as any kind of other presents, and I really like this idea. I was never enjoying Secret Santa that much.
But the whole point of Secret Santa when you do it with like a company or something is you get rubbish. They're never good gifts. I remember I got my first boss. He was bald, and I got him a wig and a stick on moustache and things. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, of course.
People have. There's I can't remember what the game is, but where you can steal someone's present. You pick one up and you go, do I want this or whatever that person's got? And I think we did it a few years ago at Cogworks in the London office, and there was like a lottery ticket that ended up going round and round people. It's a bit of fun. But I think last year people took it quite seriously. A lot of people maybe took it as an opportunity to show some appreciation to members of the community that have helped them with things, or just spread a bit of Christmas love. I know that a lot of Lego was exchanged last year.
I was going to say a lot of Lego involved, but in general, people really tried their hard to prove that it's something unique. And if you're picking the single person from maybe other part of the globe, maybe Australia, maybe United States, maybe Denmark or any other European countries, you can share something yours, something personal, which relates or might relate to the person which you've received. Really interesting. I didn't sign up yet, but I will. And we can just use this as a call and invitation for everyone who wants to participate in action like that. Really, really interesting and cool.
Got until the end of umbraCoffee next week to actually apply. So
exactly,
it's your 1 week warning.
Yeah, and we'll remember about it and remind you about it next week for sure. That's cool. But also this week there were a couple other events which we can highlight.
But maybe,
for example,
maybe before we do that, I was going to say, talking of Christmas and events, we're days away from December, meaning 24 Days in Umbraco is coming back from, is it Tuesday next week? Tuesday, which is going to be exciting. Makes things feel a little bit more festive. I've got my advent calendars ready as well, my chocolate. But it's good to get some nice juicy Umbraco articles as well.
Yeah, that's true. And people, a question to you: if you have any other advent calendars which you are following or going to follow, maybe share it with us as well, because I remember there were some other initiatives last years around various technologies, various tools, various areas of development, and not only development. I'm curious because I think that December is usually used and sometimes used as a kind of summary of the year and collection of the inputs, and I would love to see a lot of other initiatives and maybe some new points of view on specific.
There's a nice Azure tech community calendar, which is going to be, I think, maybe 5 different posts a day throughout December, which seems like a lot of work, but it's all community submitted. That's all really cool. There used to be one called 24 Ways, but I think this year they have stopped. It ran for something like 20 years. It's been going a long, long time.
Yeah.
There's a whole,
I know Polish.NET and not only .NET community is organizing something like that. They are sharing products, challenges, coding challenges once per day, but again in Polish only, unfortunately. So not global wise. But if you know about actions like that, share them maybe under this video to let us all know about them as well.
Yeah.
And from other events perspective, I wanted to mention yesterday's Gold Partner Summit, which was unusual again. And also speaking about parcels, deliveries and stuff like that, I didn't believe that it can happen. But Mike Peterson from Umbraco HQ promised me that he will do everything what's possible to ship it to Poland as well. And I enjoyed and participated in online wine tasting event, which was amazing.
How did that work? How does that? Obviously, everyone got shipped a small box of wines, but,
yes.
but how did that go? That I've never heard of someone doing online wine tasting.
Yeah, of course, it was a Gold Partner Summit, so it was started with Umbraco presentations from HQ, summaries and stuff like that, and then we've jumped to the Zoom channel, which was moderated by company Just After Midnight, which was organizers of that, and their invited guests who were experts in wine tasting, and we had numbers on the boxes, and moderator who said stories about wines. We were introduced to them. Then we were divided into breakout rooms on Zoom, which is an amazing feature, which we also used in the company last week for some kind of game. And we come back, so we could chat with random people there, 5-6 people in the breakout rooms, discuss the wine, and come back to get some summaries from the girl who was a wine expert. Really good, really cool event, and again, great also inputs and insights from Umbraco on the updates from the HQ perspective, which are going to happen also on the blog post and further actions. So really cool. And again, for me personally, it was a proof that online events have sense and they can be organized in the really good way. Plus, I didn't attend that many online events, so again, probably it's a couple of months after we were blocked by not organizing a real event, and people just learned that it's possible how to do it, and I couldn't imagine that there is an online wine tasting opportunity, which I really enjoyed this week.
That's fantastic. I've never considered that could work, and by all accounts, an incredible success too.
Yeah. And of course, there were some also talks from Umbraco, and Philip also mentioned the thing which was released also this week on Umbraco blog, which was an information about semantic versioning, which is going to be executed even more with the upcoming releases of Umbraco, and it already raised some discussions, right, on Twitter, on forums and Slack.
Like, okay, so everyone keeps talking about, what comes after V8, and logically that's V9, but that means by this we're going to be waiting for V9 till 2025, and of course that's not actually what's going to happen. They're moving to semantic versioning, restarting the numbers from some point. I think it's version 1, and then the new version will be from that. And I think they're going to, as Philip confirmed on Twitter, they're going to have a new package name probably as well on NuGet. It'll be something new, but they can't use Umbraco.
Yeah, you found it, right?
Historically, that's like the V5.2 is on NuGet. It's unlisted, but it's on NuGet. With the name Umbraco. I don't know what they're going to do about that. And then, of course, Umbraco CMS, they can't release V1 of Umbraco CMS NuGet because eventually it will catch up with V4 within 2 years. But yeah, the idea is 2 major releases a year, semantic versioning. We start ignoring version numbers, stop thinking about that a bit more, and we can have more regular breaking changes, which I do quite like the idea of. Small breaking changes every 6 months would be great.
And only then, following the pattern, which might give us developers and agencies and companies more predictable way of upgrading our solutions and more safety maybe, or insurance around those upgrades, because even Philip mentioned yesterday that all the patch releases will be automatic on cloud and other products where it's possible, and it will force ability to not really break anything during them, because in this case it will break for many users.
It's true. So for say V7 to V8, when there was a load of things that we wanted to get into V8 for. These breaking changes need to happen now because we don't get an opportunity to make breaking changes very often. And actually, we can't wait 5 years every 5 years to have cleaner APIs or cleaner code. We can wait 6 months. I think that's very reasonable, and it's your choice if you upgrade or not. You don't have to upgrade every 6 months. I assume they will keep supporting these major versions for a period. Was it mentioned in the post about long-term support? I know it's something that Philip has discussed before, but the plan is to offer long-term support on certain major versions, I believe, and they will try and align those with the .NET version long-term support too.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact information about it, but also there was an information about kind of focus and refocus point on the .NET Core right now, which is becoming the top priority right now, and all the forces are around it. And that there was also mentioned that V8 is of course going to be maintained. All the security and patch releases will be applied, but there is not more major features upgrades straight to the V8, which won't be done for the core version, which is also cool. And I forgot one more thing, which was very important thing, because after the HQ sessions there were 3 sessions about headless, provided by Gold partners. There was Mikkel from Novicel talking about the custom implementation of their Umbraco headless solution. There was I can't remember the name right now, but there was a talk about from Cold Banana Studio about using hardcore for optimized ways, and also Carol from Equator shared how they used headless to provide data for their implementations, which were using Alexa skills and more, which we've some of us already seen on Carol's talks, which were always highlighting that, and that was also providing some inputs on how Umbraco is going to approach implementations, how it will help growing solutions inside of the core to supply also tools for usage of headless and any custom implementations, which was something cool for me personally, because it wasn't forcing headless or hardcore as a product, but generally the approach on implementing data-driven solutions, which are and were challenging from the beginning, which is really cool to see.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so that's from these updates, and of course we will see more in the upcoming weeks, and also there is more meetups and more talks which are going to highlight things like that. And there also were some meetups this week. Callum, you've attended?
Yes, we had the Wales meetup, and I did some demos of some search things I've been working on at that, and was there a meetup earlier in the week? I don't think there was this week. I think we've had one since, but there's stuff coming up. We've kind of got the last meetups of the year now for various groups. So everyone's trying to cram one in. There's probably one every 2 days for the rest of the year, I think.
Let's jump through them. So December 3rd is the Christmas social on Umbraco Leads group, and the day after. The same day you have 2 talks, right, Callum, on virtual Azure Community Day.
So I'm going to be doing a brand new talk, which I'm really looking forward to. Break up with your dev machine. The idea of looking at like different ways to have virtual development environments, whether it's a VM in the cloud or whether you're using something like code spaces.
That's really interesting. Is it going to be recorded or not?
It will be recorded and it's streamed live. It's completely free for you to watch and join in. There's a really nice, I think it's almost like 24 hours worth of content on the Azure community website, so you can look at those, and then they'll be on YouTube afterwards, which should be good fun. And you can tune into me and directly after tune into Carol, because Carol's talking. She's doing a talk about looking after yourself, kind of working from home during lockdown and stuff. And she's on straight after me. It's a lightning talk. So yeah, you can tune in for an hour on, I think it's 10:30 on Thursday next week, and watch that.
Nice. That's really interesting event. And from Umbraco perspective, there's also the week after we have a virtual December meetup in Glasgow, which we've already mentioned, and we'll be reminding about it next week with a set of great talks, which we've been talking about last week about .NET, C#, and all the other stuff with the testing, adapting. Really cool agenda here. And the day after is a virtual Australian meetup with another great and packed agenda, which looks amazing.
Showdown, I think. So
yep, Plumber, full text search, Bento. Yeah, whoa, using. Yep. Really cool. And last but not least,
the day after. This is 3 meetups, 3 days in a row.
Packed week.
Our London Christmas party and quiz. So people that have been to the London Christmas event before will know Ravi does a impossibly difficult quiz. This year in virtual.
I've heard a lot about it, and first time we are all able to join that virtually.
Yeah.
That's
I think we've tried to tame it a little bit this year. It's obviously we can't work in teams anymore. So everyone's left to their own devices to work out exactly how to answer Ravi's cryptic questions. We're going to have some little breaks, I think, as well. So do like 20 minutes and everyone can just breathe for a minute rather than whatever it's been before, 3 hours of impossible questions.
But Callum, check Zoom breakout rooms for this purpose, because it really worked pretty well yesterday for the chats in the smaller groups, and it can be possible to have groups formed to go with the tool, and then Kahoot or anything else like that, of course, for the quiz questions. Which also were performed yesterday, and Mike Macy, who is watching it today, won the whole competition yesterday, providing a really nice knowledge about Umbraco and everything oriented around that. So yeah, these are meetups, as you've said, packed week and weeks before the Christmas, so everyone can catch up on the knowledge for that. But also it was a week packed with some package releases. So but there's one more event which is happening. Happening when? What's the date for the?
This is on the 12th of December. This is DDD. DDD is a series of events that happen in the UK.
Yep.
Generally 3 or 4 times a year, but this is virtual this time for the first time ever. And some Umbraco people have submitted some talks. I'm not going to name any names, but if I was just say some of the kind of titles, like maybe if someone was talking about breaking up with their dev machine, or maybe someone that does a lot with accessibility in the community, they may have submitted a talk, and equally someone that does a lot with Blazor may have submitted a talk. So find those kind of topics interesting. I highly encourage you to go to the link, which we'll have below, developer.com, and vote for those sessions, because if you vote, then they get accepted and they can be given on the 12th. Again, completely free of virtual. And
again, I learned from them how the really voting might be effective for choosing the talks. And really, if everyone would spend couple minutes, 15 minutes to check out the topics and the intros and decide what interests the most. Also for the speakers, it's interesting challenge to write really catchy titles and introductions, because
with a lot of these, as John is saying in the chat, like you can look at them and you can guess, as I gave you a few hints, there's probably some very obvious talks in there. But equally, there is a skill in, you can be an unknown speaker and you can just submit a fantastic sounding topic and you get accepted. It's not then about, big name speakers or anything. It's all about the topic. And they try to, as much as possible, anonymize those descriptions that get submitted. So you end up hopefully with a nice balanced event.
Yeah. And again, I would encourage speakers to read them and check what is really convincing us to attend or vote for a specific talk, and then reuse it for when we are submitting our call for proposals for the events. Really cool. Link will be down below to vote and support not only our representatives but everyone else who wants to share their knowledge. And releases, which I mentioned this week, starting from Umbraco Forms 8.6 release, which we've mentioned also last week, and it introduced some new features and also decouples some of the logic from jQuery, which, Callum, we know you're an expert in after our April Fool's episode. And in this case, what also is worth to mention is like Umbraco did a lot of work to be able to install this upgrade without breaking or affecting anything what is installed. So even if we are using jQuery or not using jQuery, if it will be needed, it will be used. If it won't be needed, it won't be used, which is pretty cool. And we can all upgrade to the latest and greatest version of Umbraco forms, and also reading the advertisements and everything else which Umbraco shared with us, we can expect more work upcoming in Umbraco forms, because there will be a dedicated person or even small team which will be doing some kind of upgrades for that constantly right now. And packages, first of all, is a media remove, which is an addition based on Nexu package to delete unused media in the bulk operations from here.
So that's like a dashboard,
really cool.
Dashboard that goes through, works out all of the media that's unused by Nexu, and then gives you the option to delete them.
Yes, exactly.
I like that a lot.
So especially useful when it comes to shared server spaces or hosting providers, which are depending, for example, for the size of media used. I enjoy this package because I literally was looking for something like that to delete unused media, zip files, which were consuming a lot of server storage. So yeah, pretty cool and handy usage, and also extension of the Nexu functionality, which is an engine to make it all possible to happen.
Very nice.
Cool work. There was also a new release of UE-O-Matic. I don't know how to read it correctly, but this is a very powerful package to build custom sections, which was built a long time ago. I used it for V7, if I remember correctly, at the beginning.
At least V7.
And after Hacktoberfest contributions, team released a new version called Hacktoberfest Edition, which has some really cool new stuff added to this package. And again, UE-O-Matic and Fluidity are two great packages which are enabling us to extend Umbraco with our custom sections with any custom data which we can dream about. So really good to see that. And Umbraco Examine PDF upgrade from Shannon with some fixes and new features around PDF indexing and reading and searching. Pretty cool stuff. I didn't check it yet, but I just saw that there is a new library which is used for operations around the PDFs, which might be really cool improvement, because
I know that obviously indexing documents is challenging already.
Yep.
And I know that people have had a few challenges in the past with the Examine PDF indexer. So hopefully this is a lot better. As they've said, they've swapped the PDF indexer or the PDF parser out to actually use a new one, which looks cooler. I didn't even know about any of these tools. PDFs are a nightmare.
Yeah, I dealt with the PDFs recently for generating diplomas for our students in law school, and I used Puppeteer on Azure Function, which works really great, but it's based on the Chrome engine.
Headless Chrome, isn't it?
Yes, headless Chrome. But yeah, really interesting to see this one. And of course, as we are dealing more and more with documents, PDFs, and online stuff, we need to care more about content there. Two more upgrades from Soren on his packages. Full text search, new upgrade with fixed save and publish action in the 1.101 release this week. Matryoshka upgrade, again with some missing, with some fixes for the previous release, and no more changes. Breaking ways of using Umbraco with Matryoshka and tabs.
Oh yeah, and, that was if you're doing multilingual and you have Matryoshka installed, the tabs bar would run over the top of the language pick, so you couldn't switch languages or something.
Yep. But of course, it relates to some further discussions about tabs and packages in Umbraco. And Soren also said that it was his mistake of not testing all of the scenarios, but great community tested it. And after installing Matryoshka or using it in the multilingual setups, and right now it's fixed and working as expected. So tabs are back with the Matryoshka if we want to use them there. And Umbraco MegaNav package for V8 upgrades from Aaron, 2 upgrades this week with some fixes and new features and improvements for MegaNav in V8 fork. of this great package which you've started, Callum. So yeah, that's all from the package perspective, as far as we found. I couldn't find anything else.
There was I mean, we discussed it last week, but I think ExaminX version 1 actually came out on Monday. We discussed it last week, but I think came out Monday or Tuesday, and there's now a far more generous free tier. So if you're doing a small Umbraco site, you can use ExaminX completely for free, because in line with Azure Search's new free tier as well. I think you're allowed like 100 documents or something like that. So if you've got a really small site, you can use that, and that's fantastic, completely for free. And I think there's a mid tier as well now. If you wanted it for a slightly smaller site but need a bit more data, you can buy a slightly cheaper license rather than the $750 a year one. But package.
Yeah, but also with the examine, there were some fixes, even which I raised this week and moved them back to the agenda, which Shannon also addressed. So hopefully we'll see more upgrades. And it's great to see that packages like that, or even commercial offerings around the examine implementations, are helping to make the core implementations better, because there is a lot of pull requests and a lot of code upgrades for examine itself, which can result only in the better and more flexible ways of using it for us as a developers, which is great. Again, blog posts, some of the upgrades from in the blogs, starting from part 2 of Nick's blogs about members.
I'm loving this series.
Yes, it's really cool and great, and we've highlighted the part 1. There is a part 2 with component and composer defined, and also with some information how to configure the root handler for dealing with the public faces member sections, and part 3 probably coming next. So really, really good work from Nick here. One blog post about sign language from Hank, which I catched on somewhere on socials. Might be not directly related with Umbraco, but online events for sure. And it was a really interesting read for me, how it was done, how it can be done for all the big or smaller events who wants to be more accessible. Funny enough, I was messaged this week after one of the webinars for parents in our school that it would be good to have captions, even captions in the videos. And I've seen it yesterday on the Gold Partner Summit that Umbraco included captions in their videos, which is small step, but again improving all of the received perception of the people who cannot hear, for example. Right?
We do have deaf or visually impaired people in the community, so we absolutely should be trying to accommodate them. Of course, this blog is a great example. All of the events that Henk has done this year, from the Virtual Azure Day that we mentioned to the Duke Fest, they've all had live signing for at least the majority of the day, and that's really great for improving that accessibility. And it's not something that's very easy to do. They've done a fantastic job to make that a reality.
I believe how hard it is to synchronize all of it, basically, and combine the output.
I'm always constantly impressed at how well the signers handle technical terminology as well, because let's say we're talking about Kubernetes. What is there an international sign for Kubernetes? Probably not. They probably have to try and spell it out, and that's challenging.
That is, and of course we know how the talks are sometimes prepared or even sometimes not prepared, and it's not that it's a script which is just translated before the event. It's really live, and it's really live translation, which is very important, and I highly admire efforts like that. So really good shout out to Hank for doing that and making us all inspired to do it more. And second blog post from Tim, which who we mentioned already, and in this time it was a really a nice analysis of Umbraco Cloud for the usage of the projects of various approaches.
I don't think, to be fair, I don't think it's just applicable to Umbraco Cloud. This is like deployment processes.
Yes, in general.
Flow in general for Umbraco projects. So that could be whether you use Courier or USync, your branching strategy, how you review code, and that gets put onto an environment. It all applies.
Yeah, and also working with the small team, big teams in general of when the specific approach can apply and can help, and when can it be a problem, because that's also cases, and everyone should just tailor the needs and tools for the specific use cases. So really, really good highlight with some inputs on the tools used for the synchronization between the environments. So we'll link it up, check it out if you're interested in Tim's thoughts on this topic. And Paul Seal with his part 3 series on searching with Umbraco, introducing examine searches and queries on his video, 49 minutes video with in-depth description of how to construct the search query and base it on examine index with implementation of search service in C# here. Really cool video. I scanned through it. I know the topic. Callum, I know you're a huge fan as well of search in general. So it's good that it's shared again, and people will probably use more of these features after learning how to do it. And last but not least, something what I really found interesting. We've mentioned extensions of teams in Umbraco community and Umbraco HQ managed teams, and James was one of the additions to the .NET Core team, and he started to tease us with some of his recent work. And one of the aspects which he touched already is file system and iFile system implementation for Umbraco.
Incredibly critical of the iFile system implementation in Umbraco for a long time. In V7, he was critical of it. Obviously, he built the
Azure provider.
Jevon and everyone. They've worked on that Azure file system provider. He says there's loads of things missing. Had hoped that for V8 it would happen. It didn't. Hopefully for vNext, for NetCore, we're actually going to have a refreshed one. It seems like he's been working on it, and he was sharing some screenshots as well of code. So it looks like he's been working on the abstraction and building the Azure implementation side by side, which is a nice way of validating that it does exactly what we hope it does.
Yeah, and again, it's just like a proof that having people like James in the team are exactly doing what it was mentioned to be done. So James knew that it's a kind of weak part of the system, decided to make it improved, and everyone will benefit from that. I really like this also the progress update from James in the README with the checklist and what was done, what was discussed, maybe what needs to be implemented, and everyone can also help and join the forces, because it's not only teams. Again, we can mention that it's not only teams who are working on it and may work on it. So if, for example, you want to write some unit tests for some kind of changes here, or just test it out and maybe put some of your thoughts and inputs, just join the forces and help James and other team members to make it done. Yesterday also the Jacob, who is the CTO in Umbraco, highly admired all the efforts and help from the community, companies, all the members, especially in the areas which are partially unknown for the Umbraco, because I think all of the .NET teams were partially stuck in the framework implementations, and everyone who maybe spend this time writing .NET Core implementations can help more and just combine those two and maybe get back to Umbraco at some point with the .NET Core possibilities. Who knows? But help is needed, and everyone can help if they have time and energy to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's it from our list. I will just check if that's all really packed again.
Every time you think it's been a bit quiet, there's not been anything. There's always enough to fill 40 minutes worth of chatting about it. So
yes, but feel free, if we missed anything, feel free to just add it to the comments section here on YouTube, or just tag us on the Twitter, and we'll include this in the next week, because as usual we'll be here next week. And like it, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. We are almost hitting the 600 subscribers.
Let's see if we can do that by the end of the year. Is that too challenging? Maybe we've got 4 weeks and 44 subscribers to go. So there we go. That's your challenge.
If you are watching it and you are not subscribing our channel, just click this button. It really helps us to reach more people. And again, if you have anyone in your company or circles who might benefit from catching up on Umbraco news and events weekly, share this link with them. We'll highly appreciate if you will tag us anywhere on the socials.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thanks. And yeah, have a good weekend ahead, and we will be back next week. Counting down to the December and 24 days.
24 days
exciting,
to discuss.
Exciting days ahead. So yeah, thanks Callum. Thanks everyone for watching us, and yeah, see you